Alrighty, what's going on, Cozy Gang? I'm back again with another video. This time I'm going to be talking about All About Love by Bell Hooks. Such an amazing book. People probably look at the title of this book and they think it's all about romantic love. It's not all about romantic love. It talks about community, it talks about family love. My friend recommended it to me. Shout out to you, Daniela. And she was just saying how it helped her to open up to her community and to start to cultivate a community of love. And you know, I think that's something that's really important, especially now in these times that we're in. We see the importance of having community and having your people. So I think, you know, just overall, everybody could use a little lessons in love. I mean, if you're in a relationship, you probably want to get this book. If you're single, you probably want to get this book. If you're in a relationship and it's like really struggling, you probably want to get this book. If you're a mom or a dad, get the book. If you was just broken up with, get the book. If you're dating people, get the book. Basically what I'm saying, you need to run on down to your Black-owned bookstore and get this book, or you need to hop on Amazon and get it and, you know, get into this, because this is really going to guide you when it comes to interacting with other people and when it comes to building real genuine relationships. So this will probably end up being a long video. So grab you some wine and a blanket, or you know, get you some hot tea, or just put me on like a podcast, have me playing in the background. I don't care why you do your thing. But we're about to get into this, so let's take a deep breath and get into this. Let's do a little rundown real quick. I'm not gonna go through this whole book and give you all the spark notes, but I am gonna give you the things that really touched me. And I mean, I already told you to get the book. You need to have the book in your cart on Amazon right now. So yeah, don't even worry about that. But I am gonna go through and say all of the things that really touched me, and I'm gonna give a little insight to my life and like some places I've seen this stuff applied in my own life. So yeah, let's get in. So the first thing, the book starts off not playing no games with you. You know, once we get past the introduction and we talk a little bit about society and cynicism when it comes to love in our society today, then we hop right into, let's give some definitions to love. Let's give some clarity to love, okay? Before we can even read the rest of the book, we gotta know what love is. And the quote that stuck out the most to me, I got my notes. The quote that stuck out the most to me is the definition of love. This is the definition that psychiatrist M. Scott Peck gave in his book, The Road Less Traveled. He said, love is the will to extend oneself for the purpose of nurturing one's own or another's spiritual growth. So basically, the main idea around love is you're willing, you're, you know, consciously deciding that you and your actions will nurture your spiritual growth or the other party's spiritual growth. And I think that is very key going forward. I mean, we can't even get into this conversation if we don't talk about the will, the desire, and the choice that comes in deciding to love someone else. It's not, oh, I fell in love, I don't know what happened, and I just woke up and I was in love. No, real love is a choice, and you're using your willpower and you're deciding, I'm going to nurture this other person, or I'm going to nurture myself through this experience. And I think that in itself shows, you know, why society is kind of clueless about love. We have so many romantic shows. We got The Bachelor. We got all types of romance, 90 Day Fiance. We got all of these shows. We have all of these movies, romantic comedies, all of this commercialization around love. But the genuine understanding of a choice that you're making to nurture your spiritual growth or to nurture someone else's spiritual growth, that's nowhere. Like, where do you hear about that? Nowhere. So I definitely, I mean, that first off the bat, yes, Yes, we have to know that. We have to understand that. Then Bell Hooks starts to talk about some of the ingredients for love. And this is such a good list. It's just so clear. It's just so nice to have a clear list of what something is. I mean, a clear definition of what something is. So here are the ingredients for love. As kids, we start out with affection. We receive affection from our parents. And then we add in the other ingredients. We have care, recognition, respect, commitment, trust, and open and honest communication. So when I looked at this and I started to think about different relationships that I've had, of course, I mean, this book, I mean, is a mirror. You got to look at yourself when you read this book. And when I started to think about relationships that I've had, romantic and platonic and familial relationships, I thought about, like, did each of them have all of these ingredients? Did they all have care, affection? Did they have recognition, respect, commitment, trust, open and honest communication? I mean, I was so surprised to look back and see, like, a lot of them didn't really have all of that. And like I said, this book is a mirror. So but then it's just powerful to have the knowledge, because now going forward, I could look at a situation and say, oh, this is not nurturing my spiritual growth. It is not, filled with care and respect. So let's say you in a relationship and you have somebody that, like, really cares for you, he takes care of you. When I say he, is very generic, okay? You're in a relationship, you have someone who's taking care of you, you have someone who is, they're, recognizing you and they're affectionate towards you. Whatever your love language may be. But let's say they are cheating on you. I mean, just cheating. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be so insensitive about that. But let's say, like, somebody is, like, just cheating on you. That person is not showing you respect. And that person is not showing you their commitment to you. It comes with responsibility. Love comes with responsibility. And so if people, they don't want to be held accountable for their actions, they don't want to take responsibility for their consequences, these are the kind of people that's not really loving you, okay? And love is action. You have to do love. A lot of people talk about, oh, I felt like we were in love and I feel like this and I feel like that. How fleeting are feelings? Like, literally, when I get hungry, I go eat and then I don't feel hungry. Like, your feelings, they change all day long. You can't go based off of feeling only. And love is action. Love does love. Care is an action. Being affectionate is an action. Respecting someone is an action. So keep that in mind. And when I talk about love being action, we move into the next chapter, and it's about childhood lessons on love and things that we've experienced in our families. And for some of us, we grew up in situations and in households where there was care, and there was also abuse. And so we grew up, thinking that, as long as care is there, that is love. But you have to have all the ingredients. I mean, if there's care there, but there's also humiliation, that is not love, that is abuse and neglect. And so, like, when you're reading this book, and the reason why I say parents should also read this book is because you start to understand, what it is that you're teaching in every action that you take with your kids, and what you're teaching them about love, and what kind of person that you're turning them into with your techniques for disciplining, and your techniques for teaching them things. We all can dig back into our childhoods and think about some times where we felt like, okay, well, you know, this person definitely loved me, they showed me love, you know, they gave me all the ingredients. And you can also think, well, this person didn't really show me all the time that they love me. They didn't, you know, do the action all the time. And it can kind of spark up some questions in you, definitely. And it probably will, you know, make you feel like, you know, I probably have to have some conversations. But that's good. That means we're moving forward into more love in our communities. We're moving more into knowledge of love. And then we can actually take on the responsibility of love. We talk about honesty in this book, hits on commitment in this book, you know, and giving unconditional love to someone else, um, and giving unconditional love to yourself. She says, when we give this precious gift to ourselves, and she's talking about unconditional love, that is the grounding for sustained acceptance and affirmation. She says, we're able to reach out to others from a place of fulfillment and not from a place of lack. And then we can fulfill our commitment to other people. We can fulfill our commitment to our siblings, our family, our community, our lovers. If we reach into our own selves and give our own selves the gift of unconditional love and divine love. She hits on spirituality. You know, that love is spirituality in action. I mean, you have to have faith when you're seeking love. Seeking love is like, I mean, some people could say it's like seeking God. I mean, you know, people say God is love. I'm not going to tell you, you know, what God should be, or, you know, what God should be in your life. I'm just saying, like, a lot of people say that, you know, God is love, and the real essence of genuine love is godly, it's divine, it's spiritual. And, you know, when she says that it's a spiritual thing to have those actions that show love, I definitely agree with that, because it requires you to look at yourself and look at, you know, the energy that you put out into this world. It requires you to think about how your words are echoing through society. It makes you think about, you know, are you doing things that would grow people? And growing people is such a spiritual thing. I mean, growing yourself is the most spiritual thing. It's just, you're so connected to yourself and to your divine purpose here. And so once you start to reach out and to give that to other people, I mean, it's really a powerful, amazing thing. So she mentions, like, you know, surrounding yourself by love. And I'm just thinking about, you know, in situations, I'm so glad that I can surround myself with people that love me, and that I can continue to emit love to them, and focus on them, focus on those people that love me, and it just provides constant renewal. And I know that that's spiritual. You know, she hits on values of society, and, you know, how they affect love. And this is a part that I really enjoy, because you know, I haven't been on this earth that long or anything, but from what, you know, I've read in history, and what, you know, my parents and my grandparents, and, you know, reaching back through my bloodline, what they have said that they've seen is that, you know, community is becoming more and more sparse, families are becoming divided, and people don't have as much of an emphasis on love. And I think to some extent this is true. I don't think that, you know, that we should say it in a way that's damning on society, saying that we can never get back to love. I definitely think that we can. But I do think that, especially in the United States of America, there is an emphasis on consumerism. There's an emphasis on getting what you can get from something. So then this creates a transactional relationship between people. And I think that this is why people find themselves in situations that they don't really want to be in, because they find the value of, you know, what the experience can give them, and don't pay so much attention to the damage that the experience can also give them, spiritually and on their growth journey. And so, I mean, when I look at social media, for example, and I'm gonna talk about this real quick, because I use social media. But when I look at social media, and the changes in culture that I've witnessed, you know, from middle school to through high school and all the way to here to today, grown ass lady, is that, you know, it just seems like there's this arrogance that there are so many options, and that if I am stretched to grow here and it's uncomfortable, I'm going to find something that makes me more comfortable, or I'm going to escape into something that makes me more comfortable because I don't want to deal with the present moment and I don't want to deal with reality. And I see that a lot, even in how people interact with each other. It seems like, you know, they just feel like they can pick you and delete you, unfollow you in real life. And it's like, no, real life doesn't work that way. Community doesn't work that way. And networking doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work. If I don't like a coworker, I cannot delete them and block them. No, I have to figure out a way to work with them so that we can achieve our ultimate purpose. And so I think, like, I'm not saying that if somebody's not a good person for you, that you should just have them around in your life just because you're like trying to be this loving person. No, that's not what I'm saying. Definitely, you should have your boundaries. And if you don't, then you're not a loving person because you're not loving yourself. But what I'm saying is, you can't just delete people. You can't just remove whatever is uncomfortable for you. And so stretching yourself and allowing yourself to stretch even in times of discomfort is going to grow you. It's only going to be beneficial for you. And try to think of people not as, you know, transactions. Try to think of people as people that need love, because we all do. We all need love. Every human, every single human on the planet. There's just so much me culture, me, you know. And one thing about love is that, you know, you can really feel and experience the spiritual benefits of love when you give to other people. Doing services is like it's kind of like a cheat code to feel love real quick. Like, doing something for someone else is like the cheat code to just feel love, because you are now lending an experience, a positive experience, to someone else. And there is something very spiritual about being a part of that process. When a person is taking in something that you've done for them and they're appreciative, there is a spiritual energy between two people that is happening. I'm not trying to be like incense lady and all of that stuff, but it really is. Connection is spiritual, and you're connecting with that person, and it's I'm telling you, it works every time. So it's just like, you know, this me culture, and there's just like this alienation, really, because you're focused on yourself. You're focused on, oh, I don't need nobody. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. We are human beings. We are made for companionship. We literally cannot live without companionship. We do need people. We do. You don't have to be like, oh, I don't need nobody, because you do. You definitely do. And you're going to alienate yourself, and you're not going to have love. You're going to be loveless if you continue to do that. You have to understand your position in the greater thing, like, you know, the greater good of things, the bigger thing. Like, you're in a community, you're part of an ecosystem. Are you going to be a cancer, or are you going to be, you know, water to that ecosystem? Then she starts to get into, you know, the types of the different areas where you can experience love. And she starts to talk about community. And, you know, reading this community chapter honestly got a little emotional for me, because, it's always been important to me in my life to have community. It has gotten me to this point, seriously. I mean, I live far away from my family. I live as far as possible. And so having community here from the moment I stepped off the plane into Seattle has been really monumental for me. It's I don't think I would have been able to last here that long if I didn't. I definitely wouldn't have been able to. And even growing up, I had the nuclear family. I had a mom and I had a stepdad and a younger sibling, and we had pets. So we had the two parent, two kids household. Um, and there was care and there was commitment and there was recognition, um, and at times affection, even when we didn't want affection. Um, but honestly, there were some times where there was no communication or no trust or no knowledge, genuine knowledge about love. Okay? It was kind of like we were all blind, feeling in the dark, just trying to make sense of everything around us. I'm just being real. I'm just keeping it real, especially now that I'm at the age that my parents, my mom and my stepdad were at different pivotal moments of my life. So now I can definitely see you're just trying to figure this thing out. But it was my extended kin that really filled me up with love sometimes, and like one of my best friend's mom, Bria's mom, shout out to Bria. She always came through for me. She was a teacher at my elementary school, and she just was always around. I always felt like I had a person that was on my side, and that was so valuable. So many times I didn't know what to do, and I didn't know who to seek counsel from, and I would go to her and she was there for me. So it's like extended family. Honestly, all of my best friends' moms, like everybody's parents, the twins' mom and dad, always there for me, always so loving, so sweet, affectionate. Jatanya's mom, always there for me. It was just like I had multiple moms. I had aunts and uncles that would check in. My aunt guided me all throughout college. Like, she was just like big sis, like. And that was monumental. I can't thank all of these people enough, because that community love really grew me, and it really showed me love. It showed me what it means to love people, even outside of a relationship, even outside of your immediate family. These aren't the only people that you have to love. They make you feel like in society that, oh, a partner is the thing. That's the thing that we going after. There's love all around. There's so many opportunities to love on people, on your community. Okay, so yeah, get you some friends, child. Because romantic relationships become codependent when people forget about their independence. So you don't have anything to cling to your independence. You don't have no friends, that where you are who you are to them and not who you're with to them. Okay, you don't have community, your own hobby type of community or something. You definitely need that, or else if you're in a relationship, it can grow codependent, and it can be negative for your relationship. Having this too, and having these platonic relationships helps relationships. It helps your romantic relationships, because then you're not putting all of the weight of a special love onto your romantic partner, but you're spreading out an even playing field of love that is equal, and it's just a foundation for love, and it's the same across the board. And so that's how you nurture spiritual growth. I mean, if you're planting seeds all around the soil, then that's how you create a crop worthy of harvest. Not just if you're putting seeds in a hole in one spot over and over and over. You are gonna smother those first seeds. You're just gonna mess it all up. So yeah, she hits on forgiveness. I mean, this book is so healing. And this book, I mean, for a single person, for a person in a relationship, for a married person, I don't know, I'm not married, but definitely I feel like this book can heal you through whatever. If you even feel like you having problems at work, read this book, because it'll teach you how to love humans. It'll teach you how to love humans. And the forgiveness piece is so big. It's so big. And I mean, in today's culture, we block. We just block. You don't forgive nobody. You just try to you just try to forget them. You try to delete them. And it ruins your own heart, honestly. It makes your own heart harder. She says, or she quoted Robin Kasarjian in Forgiveness, A Bold Choice for a Peaceful Heart. It says, forgiveness is a way of life that gradually transforms us from being helpless victims of our circumstances to being powerful and loving co-creators of our reality. It's the fading away of the perceptions that cloud our ability to love. So you have all of these perceptions about how things should have been and blah, 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 blah. And now you can't even love people. And so, and now you're a helpless victim. And so being able to forgive someone takes you out of that. Now you can be a co-creator. Isn't that awesome? Like, we're literally here to create. That's what we do. We create things, we create art, we create people. And so we have to be focused on this. We have to be focused on being a co-creator with other people. Being their equal. And kind of, when you don't forgive people, it kind of has this arrogance of you don't think that you're equal to them. You think you're above them. And so, I mean, check that out. Do what you will with that. Mutuality, she hits on. And you guys, when I say she's hitting on it, like, hard. Like, she's talking about, I asked myself the question, how many men out there act like a partner is supposed to take care of all their needs? They be like, oh yeah, she better cook, clean, she better wash my clothes, take care of me, take care of the kids, bathe my feet, give me a massage, do my hair, rub oil in my scalp, take the nose hairs. Like, why? Why is she doing all of this? It's a mutual thing. It's two people. And there's this power dynamic underlying there where one person feels like, oh, I have the power, of this relationship, and this is the way I want it to go. So it's going to go this way. It's going to go my way or the highway. And it's void of love. It's void of love. It does not respect the other person. It doesn't show them care, affection. She talks about how people see love as not as important as power. And, power, she says herself, the privilege of power is at the heart of patriarchal thinking. It just, it really dives deep into the male inability to express their honest feelings. And I think that this is something that my sisters in my age group are, struggling with men, emotionally opening up. It just creates more alienation and more emotional isolation. So brothers, I need y'all to do better. I just need y'all to do better. Yeah, and I'll put a little quote in here. It says, situationships, listen up. Okay? It says, Discipline and devotion are necessary to the practice of love, all the more so when relationships are just beginning. Okay. Peck writes, whether it be shallow of jot, commitment is the foundation, the bedrock of any genuinely loving relationship. Deep commitment does not guarantee the success of the relationship, okay, but does help more than any other factor to ensure it. Anyone who is truly concerned for the spiritual growth of another knows, consciously and instinctively, that he or she can significantly cause that growth only through a relationship of consistency. Consistency. I mean, it's the same as building habits for yourself. You need consistency. And so if you're going to build this habit of being around this other person in this situationship, and you're building up this consistency of disappointment, both of you are damaging each other and yourselves. And there's no room for spiritual growth there until you find a way to break that commitment and move on. Whew, I know that's hard. Oh, romantic love was a nice a nice chapter. I am a hopeless romantic. But the thing that stuck out the most in that chapter for me is, she says, true love appears only when our hearts are ready. And that's very, very true. When your heart is guarded, when your heart is cynical, you cannot have true love. When your heart is more focused on power than people, you cannot have true love. When your heart is not willing to nurture your own or someone else's spiritual growth, think again. She talks about grieving and loss, and how that affects you, and how that has affected our society. There's like this worship of death in our society because people feel this lovelessness. I mean, they forget to affirm life, and so they don't embrace a love ethic. Number one, because they can't embrace life. It's like it's like a cycle. It's like a cycle. You have to jump in somewhere. You got to jump in probably at the love part, and then you can start to enjoy life. And to affirm your life and affirm this time that you have living among the living, okay? There's so much in this book. I mean, I'm trying not to make this a super duper long video, but there was so much. We talk about healing, and honestly, I was healed all the way before we even got to this point. So, forgiveness. We talk about our destiny, spiritually, when angels speak of love. We talk about woundedness. And so, honestly, when I finished this book, I was sad because I was like, what else am I gonna read that is going to just heal? Like every page I'm reading, I'm taking it in. It feels like nurturing. It feels like nutrients. Like, I'm telling you guys, you have to read this. It's a great resource. She compiled it very, very well. Many quotes from other sources, and I mean, you just have to read this, and then it'll help you to keep love at the forefront of your mind. And it's in you already. It's in you to love. It's instinctual. We just need the knowledge. We just need to know about it. And what's the what makes love up, and how can we show this, and how can we embrace life? So yeah, knowledge is information, and wisdom is the information put to use. So let's just keep growing wiser and keep going and growing in love, y'all. And if you made it this far, thanks for watching. and talk to me and say something in the comments. Let me know how you guys feel about this video or feel about this book if you read this. And don't forget to like this video if you haven't already. And yeah, if you haven't liked it, what's wrong with y'all? All right, love y'all for real. Bye.